Hey, welcome to Brunch with Brian this morning. It's National Checklist Day. So let's talk about checklists. There's a couple of different parts of being successful at real estate investing. The first thing I always look at is there's a mindset and there's the mechanics. So that's kind of a separation of two sides of the business. You have to have the right mindset or else you're not going to take the right actions. But then you got to have the right system, you got to have the right mechanics, or you're not going to take the right actions. So it both comes down to taking the right actions and taking enough action. So if you are not taking enough action or not taking the right actions, it's because you don't have the right checklists. You don't have the now checklists keep track of what? Checklists will keep track of your what we call KPIs, your key performance indicators. So you should have your checklist. And you know what? I have a thing that I sort of use as a checklist for life, and that's called my weekly action checklist. I actually have a form and it has everything on there, what I like to try to do every day, including deep breathing and affirmations, which I take care of on Brunch with Brian at least once. I like to do more affirmations than just one time, and I like to do more deep breathing than just one time. Affirmations are remarkable. Sometimes you kind of poo-poo them and say, oh, that's just saying some words out loud. But I mean, it really makes an impact on your emotional state when you get the right affirmations. I am a winner. I am a real estate winner, and especially when you're smiling. And remember, never forget about affirmations that motion creates emotion. So you have to say it with some verve, some energy and enthusiasm if you want it to really impact your subconscious. The point of affirmations is you're changing your emotional makeup. And for that, you have to permeate down to your subconscious layers. And to do that, you have to say it out loud with enthusiasm. So use affirmations. That's one of the things on your daily checklist, your daily action checklist. Now, one thing that should be on your daily action checklist is Brunch with Brian, every day. If you want this form, this weekly action checklist, send us an email at support@thewolfcouple.com, support@thewolfcouple.com, and I'll send you this form. It's called your weekly action checklist. And I have some of the boxes filled out, but you can fill them out yourself. It's a Word form, so it's easy to work with. And it's a chart. It's like a weekly chart, and it's got 7 days across the top, and you just check in to see what you're doing each day. And I even have you giving yourself grades for eating and for sleeping, because how well do you sleep and how well do you eat, and that really impacts how well you do that day and how much action you take. So if you have an A for sleep and an A for eating well, that's great. But if you got a B minus and a D for eating, well, you can't always get an A plus for eating. I mean, you're going to splurge sometimes, and that's okay. But, overall, you want to normally not do worse than a B on your eating or your sleeping. And sometimes do an A, and that will help you more than you think. Getting an extra hour of sleep, that's rare where, if you normally go to bed at like 10:30, you say, try it once, say, I'm going to go to bed at 9:30 and see if that makes me feel more refreshed and rejuvenated, or, move an hour so you can give yourself a higher grade. So that's a weekly action checklist for everything. But then where is your checklist for real estate investing? Now you've got two different kinds of checklists for your real estate, and they're both in your what to do manual. So in the what to do manual, there's a whole 30-day, we call it our quick start 30-day plan. So that is a long checklist. It's 30 days of things to check off. And so that's in your what to do manual. Now, if you haven't done that yet, you should, or if you didn't know it was there, go into your what to do manual and follow through on that quick start daily checklist. If you've been in this a while, you'll already have done some of those things, so you can skip over the things you've already done and go faster. But this gives you actually a breakdown every day, and it asks for between an hour and a half a day. So however fast you can go, you don't have to work every day, but this tells you what I want you doing on, the first 30 days of your business to get it going. That's your launch checklist, sort of. So that's your quick start daily plan that you find in your what to do manual. Then once you've gone through that, you're going to be all set up. You're going to have some marketing. You're going to have some phone calling going on. You're going to have leads coming in. You're going to have hopefully maybe a deal already after the first 30 days. And then after the first 30 days, Then deal by deal, there's the 7 step-by-step deal checklist. Okay, so there's 7 types of deals that you're going to do. Now, to make sure you're not missing any steps, to make sure you're not missing, missing steps or not following through on things, I want you to make sure that you print these step-by-step checklists and you're using them. And these are some of the smartest things I ever created. That's 7 pages. I think I'm probably about the most proud of that. If you said, how could you boil the entire real estate business down to 7 pages? That's the 7 pages. So they're in your what to do manual, and each one is for a different deal. It's a step-by-step checklist. There's usually between 30 steps to a deal, 30 to 40 steps to a deal. I think the quick start, the pretty house, or what we call creative financing, that's with seller financing and a lease purchase or a rental exit. That's 36 steps. So each one has its own number of steps. But if you don't have that checklist, you're not going to know what the steps of the deal are, especially if you're newer, or especially if you haven't done that kind of deal. Even if you've done some wholesales before, you're pretty familiar with that wholesale checklist. But guess what? It'll make it easier. You don't have to remember everything. You don't have to always ask yourself, well, what do I do next? What do I have to do next? And sometimes you'll forget stuff. Simple things like, oh, did we get that, sent in to order the title report? Sometimes you realize, oh my gosh, somebody's been waiting on something for a week from me, and it's been slowing the deal down because you weren't following the checklist. So again, make sure you're going through that checklist and following those. So those are your main checklists. It's, again, National Checklist Day if you're joining us late. And so the main checklist I want you to use for your life, you can use that weekly action checklist form that I created. If you want that, just, you can either send us an email anytime, support@thewolfcouple.com. You can also call or text. And I'm going to put the number in there. You can call or text. Okay, so this is the number you can call or text anytime. And you guys should all have this in your phone, as the Wolf Couple office. But it's also a phone that Dashiell, our son, picks up. So you can call or text that number. Okay, 480-789-3649. There you go. So call or text that number if you ever have anything that you want or anything you need, anything you need to know. But remember, our event's coming up in less than 2 weeks. It's a week from Friday. So we're going to see all of you guys at that event. If you have not signed up yet for that, go to homeinvestingacademy.com and then go to the shop. And it's the Taking Action Workshop is in there for just $1. Normally $797, just $1 you can come. So sign up for that. We'll see you a week from Friday. Use these checklists I'm talking about. And checklists are just good, and even a to-do list is a checklist. So if you work off of a to-do list, I'm okay with that because that's your checklist. But, a lot of times you want to enter that into your schedule, your day planner, or your today forms to keep track of that stuff. So follow your checklist. Again, the 2 in the what to do manual, the first one to follow is the 30-day quick start plan. And that's got a checklist for every single day. And then after that, you're following the deal step-by-step checklist. And that's all 7 deals: creative financing, wholesaling, rehab, work for equity, option, AX, and pre-foreclosure. AX is also assigning terms, I call that. You got terms contract on a property and you assign your terms to someone else. So that's the 7 kind of deals. So there's a checklist for every deal in there. So you'll be transaction engineer. I want you to be a transaction engineer. The only way you can really be a transaction engineer is with these great checklists. So I want you guys following these great checklists. Good morning, Robert. Always great to see you. Always have nice emojis. Good morning, Tony. Keep track of all the things in your daily method. Okay, now that's like a checklist. What Tony's doing there, DMO, daily method of operation. Somehow that's his checklist. That's like his weekly action checklist, like what I have. Morning, Caleb. Always great to see you there. And there's our phone number. Don't forget to write that phone. That phone should be in your phone. That number should be in your phone as the Wolf Couple office. And Dashiell, you can always reach Dashiell there too. So text or call that number, or you can email us always at support@thewolfcouple.com if you want that. So great. Let's all follow checklist to stay efficient and have a wonderful day. I follow checklists. That's what's going to be our affirmation for today. Simple. I follow checklists. Ready? And guys, I forget to ask for this, but if you think about giving me some of those hearts or any of that, or the thumbs up, that's great. I really appreciate that stuff. Let's do our affirmation, then our deep breathing. I follow checklists. We always do the affirmation 3 times on 3. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. I follow checklists. I follow checklists. I follow checklists. I follow the best checklist because I follow the Wolf Couple checklist. I'm really an engineer, thinker, brain type, so I do love a great checklist. And I never want you to miss any step on any deal. So that's why you got to follow those step-by-step, 7 step-by-step checklists. Okay, deep breath in. With a big smile. This is always invigorating. And yes, I'm checking this off my weekly action checklist. Deep breath in. And hold it a little bit. And then that's great. It cleanses your lungs. One more. Get that air way down deep into the bottom of your lungs where the air doesn't normally go. That's good. And exhale, let it go. All right, awesome. So great. Have a great Monday. Happy Halloween tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow, though. I might actually be going to a World Series game today, so I'll tell you about it tomorrow if we do go. That sounds exciting, right? All right, so until I see you tomorrow, keep expecting success, getting awesome training from the Wolf Couple, and as Lynette says, take